Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Who's going to be the first to join us today? I would like to greet someone, ask you how your day is going. Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining. As you're coming in, please also share immediately. Hello, Queen Nikki. Thank you. You're first today. Thank you for joining. Hello, Vivian. Thank you. Good evening. Please immediately start to share so that more people can join us, and also invite your friend. Thank you very much. We're back with Kingdom Fruits. It's been a while with Kingdom Fruits. I know you guys have been patient, not asking what's going on, but nothing is going on. We just had a lot that we are featuring, new programs, and we had events here. So we thought that we should give Kingdom Fruits a little bit of rest. But hey, we're back with Kingdom Fruits, and we have got, you can see already on the title, Adaora is with us today. So you'll be hearing her story, and also you will be hearing her speak at some point. Hello, Uche. Hello, Pastor Uche. How are you? David, how are you? Ngozi, how are you? Good evening. Hi, John. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thoughtful Writer, how are you? Miss Song, hello. Good evening. Hi, Joy. Hi, Yomi. Thank you all for joining. Please start to share immediately. Dr. Sunday is here. As you know, he always takes the Kingdom Fruits. So that's brilliant. He's here. Hi, Charles. How are you? Thank you, Houston. Thank you for sharing. Only Houston and a few people have shared. Please, if you haven't shared already, please share. If you have shared before, share again. I know we've only just come, so please share, and invite people. Good evening, Chioma. How are you? Bemi, hello. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining and for sharing. Thank you, everybody. So we're going to get started. As you know, at 7 p.m. we have various programs. So now we have, I think, 4, actually including the interviews that I do sometimes, we could say 5. So please join us 7 p.m. Ukraine time, and that's 5 p.m. UK and Nigeria time. And I know I don't need to tell you this one, the 9 p.m. Ukraine time program, which is 7 p.m. UK and Nigeria time, is with Dr. Sunday. And you know the last few days has been explosive, especially yesterday. So please join us. Don't miss that. And invite your pastors, invite your church congregation as well, so that they can watch, hear, and judge for themselves what the new church should be, or what church or Christianity should be. So please don't hesitate to do that. Just send them a video, send them an invitation. Let them make up their own mind. God will minister to them. They will join. So thank you all again, I want to say. And also, please remember to share, and invite your friends. Because when you share only, it just goes onto your page. But when you invite people, they are notified individually that there's something that you're watching and you want them to watch it with you. So it's really, really good to share with people by inviting them, because then they know that you really want them to join you. You want them to know that you're here watching this program and you want them to join you. So thank you very much. Hello, Prince Wale. Hello, thank you for joining. Queen Anastasia, thank you for joining. Gerardo, thank you, and thank you for sharing. Gift Blessing, good evening. Thank you for joining. Please share. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera now to Dr. Sunday so he can get started. So let's go.
Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I conducted this Kingdom Fruits, and I'm happy to be back with you again. Today, we want to show you one of the heroes of Facebook. This lady has become a hero on Facebook, and she's a young lady from America, but she's originally from Nigeria. She has a very compelling story, a very challenging, painful kind of story. So please go invite your friends and invite your, everybody that is interested, because what Kingdom Fruits is about bringing out people that have been transformed and have been able to discover themselves and their destiny and their calling just in a short period of less than 1 year since they have been listening to Dr. Adelaja. And this is to show display an alternative of what is obtainable in the churches today. That the church is not supposed to be focused on the pastor or to be focused on the people's needs. That the church is supposed to be focused on the kingdom and on helping people becoming who God wants them to be. So that's what we are going to be doing, and that's what we have been doing in Kingdom Fruits, 7 o'clock Ukraine time or 5 p.m. Nigerian time and UK time. So what we are doing is we're showing the church and challenging the church to see how church is supposed to be done and what kind of fruits churches are supposed to be producing. So such fruit is who we have with us today. Now I'm going to read a story because normally we read people's story. And there are some parts of her story that I will not really read. I will rather ask her to tell us about that if she's interested. She's Adaora Emelieze, was born in Lagos, but originally from Anambra State in Nigeria. Talks about the mother and the father, and of course she was abused as a kid, not in sexually or anything, but abused in terms of being beaten. And so then she understood, the family went through a divorce, and when she was growing up, so she had to grow up with the father. Then she got saved very early, quite early, I think at the age of 13. Yes. And after that, she joined a church in Nigeria that is called Christ Embassy in 2001. And she has a very interesting story here. She said, I joined Christ Embassy in 2001 when I was on campus. The school is Nnamdi Azikiwe University. I was committed and became a leader. Is the voice good enough for them? Okay. Okay. Okay, we can close this up so that the noise is not. So the name of the university is Nnamdi Azikiwe University. I was committed and became a committed Christian, and then she became a leader in the campus fellowship that she was in. After graduation, I could sense my calling into ministry, so I decided to go and work in the church. I think that's a practice in that particular church. They recruit people from universities, especially young people. And I think the idea is that they are professionals, and number two, that they are young and could easily be told what to do, or even manipulated. So, so I was committed. I became a leader. After graduation, I could sense my calling into ministry, so I decided to go and work in the church as a member of staff. I worked with a CEC. I think that's a term in that particular church. CEC is a member of the Central Executive Council of Christ Embassy Church in Nigeria. I went through the abuse. So why working in that particular church, she was abused and also witnessed abuses, and was she said she was so disappointed because of the abuse that she went through herself and the abuses that she witnessed in the church. So I went through abuse and witnessed abuses. So she's talking not just about the abuse that she went through herself, but also about abuses that she had seen, she witnessed. She was a witness to, led her to be disillusioned. I told them in the CEC or whoever she's working with, I told them that I was leaving to go get my master's in the US. So that's how she left Nigeria and escaped the abuse and that environment in that church. For me, that was an opportunity to escape the church and bid my goodbye. I knew this could not be God's plan for me, but she had to escape. I started attending Pastor Rod Parsley's church in Columbus, Ohio, where I later met my husband and we married in 2011. Then we moved to Houston, Texas. My husband lived in Aberdeen, Scotland, so he had to come and join me from the UK in America. And we started attending Christ Embassy again in Houston. Hey, now that's interesting. Somebody that has already witnessed abuse and has already experienced abuse and has witnesses with other people in that church. She still went back to that church in another country. I think the abuse, I think the brainwash that these Nigerian churches take their members through is so strong that even after they leave the country, they still go back, or they are still kind of dependent and come under the influence of that kind of church. Well, we've got to ask her that question. Let her explain to us by herself. So then, in July 2016, I started listening to Pastor Sunday's teaching. I just had my youngest child. She had a problem in the family at that time, staying at home to take care of the child. So I believe this was a divine encounter because I had just recently gone through a huge betrayal and infidelity issues in my marriage. Before meeting Pastor Sunday, I was a member of Christ Embassy, Houston, but I so desperately wanted to leave that church because of the control. So she's when this is a system of abuse that they don't stop, they are the same everywhere, either in America or in Africa. So in 2013, I got down on my knees and begged my husband for us to stop going to that church because it was exhausting. We did not even have time for our marriage, and we were always at the church from Monday to Sunday. My husband refused. He said he was going to stay in Christ Embassy, and if I wanted to leave, I was free to go. He said he doesn't have to go to the same church, or that we don't have to go to the same church. I told him I don't believe couples should go to separate churches, so I kept going with him, even though my heart had left the church. But watching Pastor Sunday was a confirmation of many doubts I had about the church. And listening to Pastor Sunday, I understood what a church it really was. I knew I was in a church where they only practiced religion and a huge scam. Now, I keep on hearing this about this church, that it's a huge scam and that all they practice there is religion and a lot of control and manipulation. But I think many churches in Nigeria are the same. These men were thieves. So she's calling all those people in Christ Embassy thieves in suits. And people were being robbed of their life. People who are robbing people of their lives, money, and destiny. The church in Houston was the center of immorality. So the abuse that she would witness in Nigeria continued right there in Houston. Married men were sleeping around with single ladies. Married women sleeping around with other married men. The church was filled with gossip and it was a mess. Firstly, this lady has just passed through a lot of pain. She experienced abuse in her family, by the father beating her a lot. Then she got into a church that she just was seeing abuse all over her, all around her. And then she left the country and came to that same church, and the abuse continued. It's horrible. Anyway, we're moving on. Firstly, I would like to say that Dr. Sunday is a true man of God. He genuinely loves people. He has a loving family, and he's sold out to build the kingdom of God. He's a giver to the core. He gave his life to teach the truth and release people from slavery. He has helped me a great deal, more than he will ever realize. I thank God for coming across his Facebook teachings. I discovered my purpose through listening to Dr. Sunday Adelaja. I discovered the difference between religion and authentic Christianity. He answered a lot of questions I had about God, Jesus Christ, and service to God. He explained giving, what real giving is, the type of giving that commands a heavenly command or a heavenly response. Dr. Sunday taught me that God is concerned with you giving of yourself as a living sacrifice in your purpose and hard work, and not the emphasis the preachers of today pay on money and giving money all alone. I have listened to the following series of Pastor Sunday's teaching, the series on church, and these series are on my YouTube page. So if you have not been listening to my series, my teachings, you could go to the YouTube page and listen to as many series as you want. So she has listened to the series on church, kingdom, conversion, solitude, life is predictable, and a whole lot more. Dr. Sunday, I cannot thank you enough, but I know God is very pleased with you as you give your life to liberate the world from religion and deception, showing us what true Christianity is about. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, my kingdom fruits. My kingdom fruits, after listening to Dr. Sunday Adelaja's message, I found my purpose. That's one of the most important things, because a lot of people go to church and they don't discover who they really are, their purpose. I now know that I'm called to be a kingdom reformer. Well, it means that we have the same calling with you. You know, I'm a kingdom reformer as well. So beautiful. That's why you have the passion. That's why God made you who you are, Adaora. I'm a public speaker on purpose and to deliver God's people from mental slavery, especially women, especially people who are in mental religious slavery. You know, so you really need as many people as possible to help us deliver people from this slavery. I want to deliver people from oppression, from abuse in churches, to expose the truth and to stand on the side of the truth. That is our calling. That's how she sees herself as a reformer. Now, what are my fruits so far after listening to Pastor Sunday, since listening to Pastor Sunday? Number one, I started my Facebook live videos. My goal in doing this is to open people's eyes to the oppression, deception, and abuse they are living in. Beautiful. Number two, I created a purposeful living page on Facebook. My mission is to inspire people to discover their purpose and find their gift, because the Bible says it is your gift that will make a room for you. Beautiful. Also, I feel like since I was deceived by the true information of finding purpose, I feel obligated to go and liberate others. Please kindly follow my page. Can somebody put a Facebook page so that people could get in touch with her, and she will help people to discover who they are, discover purposeful living. And they could also begin to watch our broadcast. Number three, I started an Instagram page. Actually, Adaora is one of the most active people on Facebook and, you know, on DSA family. She's really very focused and purposeful. So if you have not been listening to her teachings, you could go to YouTube, even to my YouTube page, and write her name, Adaora Emelieze, and you see a lot of our videos are on my YouTube page as well. I conduct purposeful living sermon. First of all, Instagram page, Shaped for a Purpose is called. I share inspirational posts to encourage people to pursue their purpose. Beautiful. Next one of our fruits. I conduct purposeful living seminars. I have conducted one so far and am in the purpose of conducting another one before the end of this year. Beautiful. Because she's having a small child. I mean, actually, I think 2 children or 3 children. I also started my blog. Wow, you are going for it. AdaoraEmelieze.com/blog. I think we should also put this on Facebook. I have written an ebook which is called 10 Ways to Maximize Your Time. Free download on my website. Wow, she's doing free download. AdaoraEmelieze.com/blog. Number 7, Fruit of the Spirit. I created a training course that is currently on Amazon Kindle store. My target market is to corporations with employees and entrepreneurs and other employees too, or employees and entrepreneurs. The title is How Tackling Intrapersonal Relation Issues in the Marketplace, the workplace, can improve employee productivity and create a conflict-free workplace. Beautiful. That's a way to bring the kingdom to the marketplace. Number 8 fruit that she has. I'm currently writing another book focusing on setting people free with my story of abuse, oppression, deception. Great. Number 9, I do all this by God's grace and the knowledge of conversion I learned from DSA. I love you, Dr. Sunday. You are the best. My goal is to leave Uncle Sam completely, and I'm on the path to realizing this vision. My advice to others is Parable 13:44. For the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Wow, beautiful. That's how the kingdom is supposed to be. Dr. Sunday's messages are treasures that you listen to them. When you discover the truth it teaches, you would divorce religion from your life and get real born again. Taking one of Dr. Sunday's quotes, religion starts where conversion stops. Yeah, you will realize you just started living, and you will learn you will realize you have just started living, and you will learn how to take over your promised land, discover your purpose in life, and become a world changer and a history maker. Dr. Sunday is a gift to our generation and generations to come, and he tells you, you too can be the same, okay? Love you and Pastor Bosse. Hope to meet your lovely family someday. You have greatly impacted my life. Wow, what a grateful. Okay, before we call Adora, maybe I would like you to say, because you read a story and all that, what would you like to say about this kingdom fruit story that we're reading today?
Okay. Yes, for me, the story was really started at the beginning. I see Adaora as a very strong person, a very strong woman that is determined. And while I was also reading the story, I was wondering with the church question that, when you faced abuse in the church in Nigeria, why you went to the same church. But I understood immediately as I was questioning myself, the answers was also coming to me, that is because you got married, and you got married to somebody that is a minister at God Embassy. Maybe I shouldn't even have said that. I should leave you to give us an answer. But I understood immediately. And also with abuses, it tends to kind of, like, if you don't nip it in the bud very quickly, what happens is that, you would gravitate, somebody that has been abused at a young age, you gravitate towards people or environment where it's familiar. so that is similar to what you used to. That's all human being. We all gravitate to what we are used to. So that is why maybe you would go back to give it a second chance. There's also religion also tell us that we should be forgiving, we should be careful. You know, if somebody slaps you, you know, if something about 77 times, 7 times, just forgive. You know, so you would want to go back based on those reasons alone. So I do understand, but the story, especially with the parents, with the challenges that you went through as a young lady up until old age, up to the age that you're in, I think, you know, God really did build you for a reason. I think one of the things that Dr. Sunday always teaches, that our challenges in life, the things that we have faced in life, are the areas that God really wants you to do something about. He wants you to change. So when you have the opportunity, or when you're out of it, you have a better view and a better, you're better to deal with that situation, to help other people to come out of it. So I am grateful to God that God led you out of all those things, your childhood, your even the relationship, the way you're handling that now, the church, especially coming out of the church and being bold to do the things that you're doing now. So I'm grateful, I'm happy for that. And also you're helping other people in this. And also the business that you have, your company, where
I'm talking to her, but you need to talk to people.
Okay.
There are so many people, and how can they maximize our story?
Okay, Dr. Sunday is just... Yeah, Dr. Sunday is just saying that I'm talking to Adaora, that really is to people that are listening, how they can maximize this. Okay, so for me, in terms of maximizing this right from the start, with the relationship and children, especially parents, if you're in an abusive relationship, there's no reason nowadays, this 2017 onwards, for you to continue to stay in an abusive relationship. The abusive relationship don't just stop with you and the father, where you know, or the mother, even if it's the woman that's abusing you. It doesn't just stop there. It also affects the children tremendously. And the remnants of this, the children will take it into their own relationship, into their lives, into what they see, what they do, you know, because Adora's, even though Dr. Sunday didn't read everything out, it was really sad that she had to live through an abusive relationship where her father was abusing her mother physically by beating her all the time, and she saw that. And then her mother left, and you know, this is another thing that really, parents, if you're going to leave somebody that's abusive to you, why would you leave the children? Maybe in Nigeria or in Africa, you don't have any power, but yeah, they don't allow you to take the children. But if you're going to leave, those are your children. You need to stay so that somebody don't even abuse your children the way they've been abusing you, because children don't ask to be born by you. You make that decision. So you should at least take care of them, protect them from all those abuses, because she had to go through all those things on her own when the mother had gone. And actually, it's not that she just left, but she went away with the youngest brother to look after him in US. So I think that, you know, we should really look at that. Even if, you know, don't say, you know, God loves marriage and start making all these excuses for it. They do leave a lasting and damaging effect on the children, and those children will become adults that are in this world, that are going around in this world damaged. It's really not fair. It's like you're contributing to the damage of this world. You're actually doing this justice to God's work. You're actually damaging God's work, because you are contributing to it. Even by your silence, by you not saying anything, by not doing anything, you're contributing to the evils of this world. So look at the plague, go and watch the plague of silence and look at it and see what those causes. So a lot of women and men, I'm not even on any side, because I know men faces abuses as well, but I think it's more women that does, especially when it comes to beating. I think more women faces that abuse than men, but I'm not saying that men don't. So if you're facing that, please don't leave children in that, or say you want to continue in it and have more children, especially if you have one and somebody already beat you with one child. Please don't have any more. Just put a hold on it. It's not, you don't have to have children. Children are not going to solve somebody that is beating you. They're not going to solve the situation. please just try and look at that. And then also with the church issue, Dr. Sunday is dealing with it now, and not only Dr. Sunday is getting a lot of abuse, but also is getting a lot of people saying well done for it. But this issue, we are the one that caused the issue with the church, because we continue to accept it. Whatever you accept, you are condoning. So if you're accepting that, you're thinking, I keep saying this, if you believe that those leaders of what they're saying is the right thing, and you keep on accepting it, then you know in your heart that this is wrong, then you're condoning, you're adding to the evil. And secondly, even if you don't know, then you really need to search your conscience and your relationship with God. How so that God is going to leave just one person or two people, or even 10 or 100 people, and then all of you guys, all the congregation, you're just under him, and whatever he says, you have to go through him to go through God. You really need to consider that relationship with God, and how can you really truly love that God? Because, you know, I really always give these examples that even as children at home, if you get a whiff of your parents liking one person more than the other, you develop some sort of rebellion to that parent that likes your siblings or somebody. So how can you really love God if you think that God is giving your GO and your apostle more power, and they anointed and you're not the anointed? How can that God create you, put you on this earth, leave you unanointed and always subdued by another human being, and you have to go through that human being to lay hands on you to do things before you get to God? Can you truly love that God? Do you truly have a relationship with that type of God? You know, so really question yourself and question where this idea of God is coming from. And if you don't really know God, it's okay. A lot of us don't really know God until we started listening to the right teachings. Go back and start to get to know him. It's never too late to get to know God. So, and the other thing with the story about going back to Christ Embassy in Texas, I just think that this is due to marriage, where we just follow. You know, whatever your partner does, you just follow. Even if you have the experience yourself and you think that this experience is wrong, and this is, I think it's a plight of marriage, is a problem, where you say, okay, my husband does this, and because it's my head, then I have to follow him to the church, where your damage is being done. You're not even living your life the way God has created you to live your own life. And your children, you can't even look after them. You can't, because if you're not right mentally, you're not at peace, you're not happy, then you cannot be to the full, you cannot fully produce and be the best that you can be. So we really need to consider all the things that we do. They're very subtle, and the things that we do as a dogma, as tradition, or community-based, or what would people say. You know, it's time we start to think that it's not about what people would say, but it's about what God will say, and it's about what God wants for you. You're very, very important. Nobody is better than the other. You're extremely, extremely important, and you need to remember that all the time and do what is right for you. So I was surprised that Dr. Sunday asked me to say anything, because maybe it's because I was an advocate for Kingdom Fruit to be done very quickly. So maybe he's already sensed it, that I have a real big concern with what happened and what I read. But I hope Adaora doesn't mind, and she's here, she's listening, I'm sure she's listening. That I just have all those things in my mind that I was questioning, but I do understand to some level why you have to do some of those things, especially going back. And I've shared that with you. I hope you will share your own thoughts as well with us when we call you to speak now, and you know, you tell us what happened, so that other people will really learn and be blessed, because all those things did not happen to you for no reason. They've happened, you've survived them. And I think also there are other people that may be facing that right now. They can learn from you, they can be blessed, they can be inspired. Because I've never faced anything like that, but I was inspired. I was, and I felt even stronger just reading it, that, okay, right. Even as a single person that never been married, I thought, okay, these are some of the challenges of marriage, or these are some of the challenges that you face when you're in an abusive home. Or if you're in a parents with the parents that they don't understand certain principle of the responsibility that has been given to them as parents. So thank you very much for sharing your story. It's a very painful story, but it's a necessary one, because there are other people that are going through them right now. And I hope that they will be listening, or they will listen at some point when we put it on YouTube. Thank you. Okay.
Can we find a way of getting her?
Yes, you can get
Okay. Need to talk to her. She's a very exciting person to talk to.
Okay. Okay.
I have her on my messenger too.
I think Messenger is not that good in terms of.
You find out. She's not on, eh?
Yeah.
She's not picking?
No. Hello. Hello, Adaora. Hello. 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 Good. I know it's afternoon over there. I wanted to say good evening. Good evening from Ukraine.
Good evening.
She needs to put off the, or you need to put it.
I need to turn something off. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can perfectly well. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Right, I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Sunday now.
Okay. Sure.
Hello, Adaora.
Hello, Dr. Sunday. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing today?
Very fine, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope it's loud enough, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What a story. What a very, very pathetic story and rather painful story. Did you hear what the comment was from Mayowa about your story, about your situation?
Yes, I did. I did.
So what would you like to add for us?
Okay. So, thank you so much for the opportunity to feature the Kingdom Fruits. But I really appreciate. I never thought I would even have one-on-one kind of studies. Thank you so much. What I wanted to say is, I just thank God for my life in general. I kind of feel that most of the things I did, like I know when you wanted to know why I actually went back to a church where I found abuse.
Yes.
I kind of was not thinking.
You are a biomass.
Yes, I think I was just a gullible Christian or something.
Yeah, because most people in the world are like that, not just Christians. Most people don't think. Most people just follow. Most people don't know how to live a conscious life or how to live in the here and now. And that's why it's one of the major things that I teach about. That, you have to learn to become a personality. You have to learn to become, to be in the here and now and to be in charge of your life. And you are definitely one now, but most people don't. Most people are just like, a herd of animals. Just follow whatever the crowd does.
Yes, I definitely was. I was. And so the reason I actually went back was because I felt like, oh, he's a leader, he was a Christian, but I
Who
didn't.
is a leader? Who was a Christian?
Okay, my husband was a leader there.
Okay.
But I did have the full picture of the extent of. I thought that it was just a staff kind of abuse I went through. I didn't really know the abuse would kind of filter into like just regular kind of life as a husband and wife going to church. It was, because I've never been married before in church. I was just like a staff member there. And I also was just in college in a campus fellowship with them. So, being married and being in church was it was different for me. It was just the first time. And, I started to see the abuse. I started to see that, people were just, we're just practicing religion. There was it was really a very, very false life, and I saw it all. I could see it, and, then I already made the mistake, of going back there, and I paid for my mistake, I guess, because I wasn't thinking and I don't know, but some of the things that you taught also in finding purposes, our life experiences is also something. It's also a clue to something that we've been called to do. So I felt like maybe I went through all these things to be like maybe a serum to help change and reform the church as well. Help in that sense. So yes, that's how I look at it in all. But yeah, I did make a mistake going back, and I paid my price and I've learned my lesson.
But
I wouldn't.
Adora, what about? By the way, see if they could see the beautiful girl. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. Let's put it closer.
Can you? And is the link there? What?
Yeah, I've zoomed in. Yeah. There's Adaora.
Beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here. I'm hiding myself.
Okay. All right. So you tell me, I want you to educate me. In those kind of churches where you are, what do you call it? Christ Embassy? That's where Chris Oyakilome is?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Is it a normal thing that people who have been abused or who have gone through some painful experiences, they still remain in that church?
Yes. Honestly, I think so, because a lot of people have gotten so used to abuse. Like I know you said it, and my also said it. I mean, you get so used to abuse that you tend to return to your abusers, and I think it's just because that was your normal. It's kind of like if you've been used to being abused, it's like a normal thing for you. So that's why people technically go back to their abusers or remain with their abusers. But it just has to take the mercy of God to open your eyes to see that this is not his will, his plan, or his purpose for your life.
It doesn't have to. Why are you connecting God to it that this is not his purpose? No human being should be abused, even if they don't believe in God.
Right. That's true, sir. So, a lot of them are abused, but they're still there because they don't believe that God has anything better for them. And that's part of what the abusers has taught them. Even talking to some of these girls that are still in this same predicament, they just don't think there's anything better for them. They think that this is their lot in life, and I don't know if they would ever, some of them will ever wake up, but I think that we can save some. But that's what I really believe, that a lot of them that have been abused have gotten used to it, and they don't think that there's anything better out there for them, and it's really sad.
Well, another thing is, some people, I saw some students here in Ukraine who said they were listening to Chris and following him. And I asked them, what's the reason? Can't you see that the guy is just a professional manipulator, the way he talks and the way he's always damp, and always, he's not natural. It's just like a mannequin, or what do you call it? Yeah. And mannequin that just, just performance. It's just performing. Can't you see that? You say, well, first of all, it's very appealing to the young people because in Nigeria, everything is second class or third class. Everything is bad in quality. So they said his presentation they talk about packaging. That is what they like.
Right.
Packaging. He does his hair neatly. He does everything. He dresses well. All his people look sharp. People in Nigeria are living in poverty. So everybody wants to be around prosperity, around success. So that's what these were not even women telling me this, but these are men telling me this. Then I could imagine if that might have effect on a lot of girls that are still remaining in that church. Is that the case, or you don't think so?
From what I've seen, I believe that's the case. He does teach the word that helps, but then Okay, I believe that Christ Embassy is really a place where people are taught to follow a man's vision. I mean, they make you believe that you're here, your only purpose in life is to come and serve in this vision and to win souls. Okay, so this is how they painted it. Like your purpose in life is to come here and to win souls for the into the kingdom of God. You know, and they don't teach you to find out what you're really, just like you taught in your series and finding your purpose. You know, those things are not being taught. And people think we're here to just fulfill one man's vision. I think that that's the error that I've seen there. And even though, you know, you preach from the Bible or you teach people to, you know, go after their dream, but you make them believe that, one, they are here to fulfill your vision, the vision that God has given you, not to find God's vision for their own lives. Two, to tell them that, number two is to tell them that, I mean, all these monies that they come up with, like first fruits, all these things, are just to stop people from really building their own lives and to, you know, I just see so much slavery and bondage. I'm sorry. I have to be honest. I see so much slavery, so much bondage, so much oppression. That's what I see. And if anybody tells me there's anything else, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't believe it, because I've been there since 2001, you know, and that's what I've seen.
There are different kind of abuses that happen in life. You know, you spoke about abuse with your parents. That's one form of abuse. Then
Right.
in the church, like Christ Embassy, what form of abuses that are you talking about are possible in those kind of, have you seen or witnessed or heard?
Well, okay, thank you, sir. So what is for staff? Okay, so I've been to staff, and one thing I noticed was, you know, you don't have, your time is basically, I mean, you're basically worked as a slave, to be honest. Number two is the first fruit things, like a staff, we weren't paid our January salary because, you know, it was your first fruit. So it wasn't even given to you. That's a form of abuse to me, because how are we supposed to eat? You know, you tell us to go and live by faith and you take our salary. I believe that the Bible says the laborer is what is worthy of his wages or, you know, his pay. Number three is the women there. A lot of them that are staff members are, you know, abused sexually. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes, you know. I was even harassed sexually as well. But that's one of the reasons why I left. Another thing is, it's just, okay, so I noticed that a lot of all this staff, some of the staff members, good-looking women that will come into the ministry, and these people are giving like cars, they're giving a roof over their heads, and normally they stay with the senior pastors who live in a very nice house, you know, and so they make them comfortable, but then they are more like, I would say, sex slaves, because at the end of the day, this is what they're doing to them, doing to these women. So that's the form of abuse I've also seen, you know, working as a staff. But in general,
what about, how do they secure their future when they are older or when they retire?
right. So these people, they've made,
Not just the women, but the staff in general, or just ordinary people who are working there.
Okay, they did. I know I spoke to one person that said now, because I left in 2005. I only worked there one for a year, and I left. But I know that they said they have like a pension right now, a pension account for them. However, they don't have any way of tracking it. Okay, it's just like I work for JP Morgan Chase here, and we have a pension, a 401k account, and you're able to log on with a username and password and see your balance and everything. But they tell them it's in a bank, but they don't have access to even check to see if these monies are there. There's no way for them to validate it. They just tell them by word of mouth. So I would say that that's false. So they don't really have anything for their members.
Yeah, that could be also because of Nigeria, because, you know, Nigeria might be like that in general. But, you know, do you think the pastor knows about the abuses going on? Or the pastors, not just the pastor, pastors. Do they know about these abuses?
I think they know. I think they do. But I think they're like, it's your lot. If you don't like it, you can leave. I mean, they've told so many people, if you don't like what we're doing to you, you can leave. But the thing is that these people are mostly recruited from universities, and so some of them don't even clear from school. I know what I'm saying. A lot of them don't even serve. And in Nigeria, for you to be able to work in the corporate world, you have to serve in the Nigerian Youth Service for a year. And most of them, a lot of them, I can say 99% of them, I mean, maybe not 99, maybe 90% of them don't even serve because we were very young and we just weren't thinking. We're just, we're not exposed, we're not informed. And I know a friend of mine that still works there that never even cleared from school. She read mechanical engineering in Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Till today, she has not even cleared from school.
What do you mean clear from school?
I mean, like clearance. So you have to do clearance before you are posted to serve in for your national youth service.
I see.
So that's a way of taking advantage of people, and that's actually abuse. Not letting them even serve in NYSC because in case they want to leave, they are not able to leave because they can't even work. See? So that's how I see it. And
when they go to that kind of place to work, they are afraid to leave because they will not be employed anywhere else, right?
Exactly. So I think they know the staff, the people that hire them, and the people that they are bosses. They know these things. They know, and they take advantage of the system in Nigeria because it's really. I mean, the judicial system is just not working and all that. So, I mean, they just...
But, okay, for example, in this country or in the West, if there are sexual harassment like that, people can go and report to the police.
Yeah, definitely.
What about the ladies in Nigeria? What is happening? Why are they not going to the police?
Because nothing is going to happen. They don't believe anything will happen. They don't believe the justice system. I mean... Okay, and also, Pastor, one other thing is, the pastors that have been put on a pedestal. This touch not my anointed thing is very prevalent there. I mean, the pastors are seen as don't touch them, even if they abuse you. Just go to God and pray. So that's why they're afraid. They are living in fear. A lot of them are living in fear.
For example, one man wrote me after I started talking about priests and things like that, and he was very angry, and he said, I've been in this church for 10 years or 20 years, and I've never seen any sexual abuse or anything like that, so don't spread lie about this ministry.
Well, I think that would be in him being in denial. I'll call that them being in denial. A lot of them are like that way. They love to protect and defend their abusers. They love to defend their men of God. I believe it's part of the brainwashing and the manipulation. That's a tool that's being used right now in most Nigerian churches. But for you to say in the church you don't see, what's going on, the abuse and the immorality, very, very high rate of immorality. It's just for you to be in denial. And there are so many of them that are that way. I mean, we live in, I think that the church in Nigeria right now, or Africa, I mean, they are more of, it's happening everywhere. Because one of the things they told me is, Adaora, go to any church and tell me where you will not see these things. They are more of, it's happening everywhere, so let's just, let's
just legalize it.
Yeah, let's just, show me where you don't see this type of things. It's happening everywhere, so let's just go with the flow, and yeah, that's the attitude they have.
And so this happens not just in Christ Embassy Church in Nigeria. You said it's also the same thing in Houston.
Oh yes. I mean, yes.
But the person who wrote me the letter is a man. Maybe he doesn't know as a man. Maybe only the woman will know.
I really don't know where he is. I don't know if he's in Nigeria or anything, but it's even more in Nigeria. It's like it's a lot in Nigeria. So, I mean, there are some people that have pastors that are very, I've met someone too in the in Ghana. The pastor there is very, very strict, and he says this type of things are not allowed and everything. So, but in general, I guess what I'm trying to say, in general, when you look at from the head of the things that are being allowed, it's clear that these things are condoned, these things are okay, and these things are, they're not frowned upon. I mean, and a lot of oppression, abuse, and
So how did you get in touch with DSA at this platform? It's off? Mm-hmm. Is that internet that is off? Oh.
Starlight Church or this chapter.
Hello?
They don't. If I'm communicating.
No, I'm not hearing you. It's like maybe you are moving a little bit from one place to the other. I lost you.
No, I'm sitting actually. Sorry.
Okay. Can you repeat that again? The last two phrases you said.
Okay, I said that some people, because I met someone who said, "Oh, you know what? In my chapter, my pastor is very strict. Is a very moral man. He doesn't tolerate any form of, immorality, and all those things." Now, that's possible, in maybe 1 in 10 churches there. But what I'm saying is, in general, sin is not the righteousness consciousness message that was preached like a decade ago was basically people felt like, okay, you know what? Since as a priest taught us to be more righteousness conscious than sin conscious, let's just go ahead and do whatever we like. I mean, and that's when all these things started. Staffs were sleeping around. I mean, it was a lot of. I mean, then the abuse started coming in and everything, and yeah, some of these messages that were preached a decade or 2 decades ago gave birth to this what we're seeing now.
Okay, now how did you come across DSA?
Okay, I came about DSA in 2016, I believe. I know it was summer of 2016 when I know you were preaching one of the series. I can't remember the series right now, but that's how I came across you, and I began to learn the truth and everything, all my doubts, everything. It was like, my questions were being answered, all the doubts I had were being settled, because it's like God knew, and he just, and I felt like you just came my way, and and you answered a lot of questions I had, and and who I was. I began to know that some of the things I would do, like impulses I had, was based on my calling and what I was shaped to do by God. Some of the life experiences, like I said I did go through abuse, beating. I mean, I don't pray for anybody to go through kind of beating I went through. My dad had a very, very bad temper, and he would always, and then my mom had to leave because, I guess she thought she would die if she still stayed there. So, I mean, it was so bad that I thought about leaving, running away from the house and abuse. So you taught a lot on, your life experiences could be tied to, what you're supposed to do in life and all that. So everything just made sense. And when I started watching you, I, got to know what my purpose is. I began to know what the church is really about, what the kingdom is really about, what the message of the kingdom should be about. This money and issue that has taken up the mammon issue that has taken over the church, in the Nigerian church, or churches that are started here that moved to the US or wherever, and the way money has been upheld as if, money is, but you thought that, it's giving of yourself as a living sacrifice, and, a lot of all those things just changed my perception and my thoughts, and I just knew that the Holy Spirit told me this is the right thing, this is the truth. This man is teaching you the truth, and this is everything that you have been asking, you've been thinking of, here your doubts will be settled. And it was, because I just started watching all your videos from 1 to the end. I think I've watched everything. I don't know if I have, but I think I have.
Does that mean that you got peace, you got settled in your heart, and you are healed from
all these things? Without a doubt. I got so much peace from watching and knowing what the church was really about. It was like I got born again. I felt like I started living, and my life just began, and I was almost close to tears, like my life would have been wasted for nothing.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say after they come to DSA platform. They said it's like they get born again and they start living all over again. So, but yes, go ahead.
Because I was chasing Uncle Sam. I never knew who I was. I never knew that I was here for God. I wasn't here for myself, and so that actually switched. It was like a paradigm shift for me. And, it was like God saying, I'm here to wake you up from your sleep. You have been sleeping for, a decade or more. And, God had mercy on me. That's all I can say.
So do you want to say that these teachings have really helped you to regain your confidence and boldness as well? Because a lot of people who have gone through Christ Embassy, they are so afraid that normally they go into depression or they go into hiding because they are afraid that the church is going to go after them. Maybe they have a killing squad or all kind of talk people have about Nigerian pastors and denominations, that they have squad to kill people or to hunt down people or to hurt people. But you are the only one that I've seen that is free enough to go ahead and share your story openly on Facebook and just tell the truth and live the truth and let the truth defend you. How come you got so bold?
I watched you and I saw your boldness, and that my boldness came out. Some things I never knew that I had. I was like, if Pastor Sonny can be bold, I can be bold. And I think that it's also one of my gifts, but it was lying dormant for a while.
Yes.
Because I was shamed into, shut up, hush, all those type of doctrines that were sold to us. But, I kind of said, you know what, I'm going to speak. I'm going to stand beside of truth. I'm going to be bold. Pastor Sonny is bold. I'll be bold.
Okay, before we go, the sign that you have really resurrected and that everything is okay with you are the things you have started to do that you were not doing before. And you have a whole list of things here. That's totally unbelievable. All the fruits that you have been able to produce. Absolutely alarming, shocking that within a year you've been able to do so much. Tell us about them. Name them one by one and tell us about them.
Okay, Pastor, thank you. After watching the series that you taught on finding your purpose, I remember watching it over and over and over again. I said I must find my purpose. I must connect the dots, And so after I found out what I was called to do, I just said, Adaora, you make the wrong choices in life, but God had mercy on me, and I found DSA, and my life changed. But one of the things that I did was I created Purposeful Living. It's a page on Facebook that I just felt like not feeling. I just had that intuition. Because one of the things you taught, to follow our heart, follow your heart. And you said begin to act. Don't just wait for God to, because that was part of the religion. Waiting on God, waiting to hear from God and all that. Because if you have a green light in your heart, it's God telling you to move, And so that was one of the things I did. I created Purposeful Living, and I just felt like a lot of people have been deceived. You talked about the Uncle Sam system in America that's going on, and everybody is basically a slave to that system. And I just felt the need that people need to be woken up from their sleep as well. with this system, because it's going to just destroy lives and destroy destinies. And so I created Purposeful Living to open people's eyes to go after, because I had this, deep, like, intuition or kind of feeling that, people finding their gift is a way for them to really find true wealth and prosperity and all that. So, I started sharing and writing on that page, and I would share it on my own personal page. And I also created I created a blog, AdaoraEmelieze.com, and
wow, jeez, super pro. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Ooh.
Yes. That's all.
And you are still able to do all these things?
It's just, you talked about conversion, and you said how to regain your lost years is you have to be intense, and so I'm just like following all those things, and I'm trying to be more intense, because I just feel like I've been raw, and I'm 34, I need to start acting, because there's so many things I want to accomplish by the time I turn 40. So, I just said I have to go with such intensity and all that. So another thing I did was I started a blog, and so many things that you taught in your series and everything. So I was just sharing it. The laws of money. I never knew anything about the laws of money before. I was I was a disciplined person, but I didn't know about spending. I would always just spend. I was just but I also learned a lot. So I started sharing those type of things on my blog, and just information that I've learned, and I also source for other information and all that. So I started a blog, AdaoraEmelieze.com. I also started sharing videos, to refute a lot of things that I felt were false doctrine, and we just, ministers that have tried to just, deceive a lot of people. Part of all this revelation I got from watching the church series, the Kingdom series, I just said, you know what, I'm going to open a lot of eyes. I don't care. I lost so many of my friends. People stopped talking to me. People in my church just, even my husband was not on my side, but I just said, you know what, I'm going to continue.
You would rather please God.
I would rather please God, everybody's going to die anyway, but the most important thing is when you stand before Him, all I want to hear is thou good and faithful servant, and that's all I wanted to hear, and that was my motivation, really, So I said, I'm going to please God, and I started to say, I'm a deliverer. I'm going to open the eyes of so many that have been held bound by, the deception, gross deception, and that has taken over the church. And people. Someone even told me, like, Adora, people are talking so bad things about you, and that you're washing out our dirty linens in public. How can you be saying that about the church and all that and all that? But I just said, you know what, so be it, but I'm going to...
The only way to stop that is for the church to stop the practices. When the evil practices in church stop, there will be nothing bad to talk about.
Mm-hmm. So I have to block some people for my page, because they just, they'll tell me, go and write to Pastor Chris, don't come online, write him a mail. I said, who told you the mail will get to him? Please. I'm going to stay on and do my videos. So I just continue to, tackle some of the topics that I felt like was just about deception, and also abuse of some of the staff members that I feel like, some of them were recruited from college and told to come and work in church, giving positions, giving cars. They buy expensive cars for them, put a roof over their heads, but they're just sex slaves, And so I just said I was going to help those type of people, and and that's what I'm trying to do with my videos and on Facebook, and just to open people's eyes and set them free, because I believe that's my purpose, is to set people free from oppression, abuse, and deception.
Beautiful. Wow. How do you see your life moving forward? No, before we say that, before we answer that question, I think the series that I started to do now will probably, serve as a big confirmation for you, for your calling? And do you feel a huge support with all these things I started doing about truth and non-truth, about cult, about hostile and all these series I started doing lately?
Yes, sir. It's really huge, and to help in that light. So in the what I see is just helping and joining in the march to free people and release people. But it's very enlightening, and I believe a lot of people in mass are being set free by this the series you've done about the truth series and what's the other one? Sorry, it's not coming to my head right now.
But is your church a cult?
It's your church a cult.
The plague of silence.
Plague of silence. That's the one I wanted to remember. Yes, plague of silence. I believe that this is where, in the days of Martin Luther, I think that where I believe that when God is ready to bring His kingdom on earth, and when He's ready to tumble government, there's always an uproar, and that's what it is. And Reformation is coming to the African churches. I believe it so much.
Beautiful. You are already leaving a legacy. Before you started doing all this thing, nobody even knew you existed.
Yes, sir. I was just I didn't have a life purpose or anything. So I'm just grateful to God. I just felt like, everything is just timing with God, When God is ready, He starts to wake people up. And what I went through in 2014, 2015, I felt like I went through a huge betrayal, in my life. And, I just was like, I don't know, I felt like it was, and I know you did a series when you were teaching on husbands and wives, soul ties. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
There was something you said. You said, what if you have, because you said something, and I just felt like that was for me. When you said something like, you said, okay, how did you put it? Let me think. You said your husband could betray you, could have an affair. What would you do? That's exactly what I was like, what? And so I was just like, so you were basically trying to teach people that go after your purpose, don't always run after, marriage and, the norm that has been sold to us in Africa, where women, once you're just done, it's like marriage, And I just believe that also needs to change. There's a lot of work that has to be done.
Instead of following your passion, your destiny, what people are following after partners, men, women.
Yeah, and you said, what if you're betrayed? What if your husband comes and has an affair? What if your husband comes and tells you, I love another woman? What would you do? I think those were your words, and that really set home. And I was like, yeah, this is not. I really have to go after my purpose and everything. So.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
You are a revolutionary already. I wonder what will be happening when your children, when you are a little bit free from the children, when you are a little bit free to do all the things that you are planning to do. The world is waiting for you. You are going to be a great Deborah of your era, a great Esther, and I want to congratulate you for that. Bravo. Kudos.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
DSC family.
Say that again.
So I said, and thank you, because I feel like God also used you to wake a lot of us up, and I'm really grateful that you came out and started your series on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. We are coming on in the next 45 minutes.
Yes, sir. Sure.
All right. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, sir.
Blessings. Bye.
Bless. Bye.
Yep.
I want to read some of the comments.
Okay, please.
Okay, hello guys. Right, we have here Doris that says, from the dressing to the way of life, everything is just wrong. They have really misled many. I told my cousin that very soon members will rise up to these pastors in demands of their lost properties they brainwashed out of them. Thank you very much, Doris. Yes, I think it's time. Chioma says people need to leave marriage alone and focus on calling. Thank you, Chioma. Jane says, congratulations to Queen Adaora. Thank you very much, Jane. Paul says, congratulations, Adaora. So happy for you. Thank you. Olu Olasunji says, Pastor Chris Oyakhilome is fraudster and a cultism man, and wayo, he needs to repent before it's late. Okay, Olu, yes, I agree with you. I hope the message gets to him. Doris says, Christ Embassy is a mess of a church, and Pastor Chris needs to run back to Christ Jesus for mercy of misleading many. Thank you very much, guys, for your boldness. Wow. Oluwaseun says, my dear, your message is getting to them. One of the pastors quoting you in service recently. Thank you very much, Ruth. Doris again says, I would
like to say something that concerning Pastor Chris and what is happening with Christ's Embassy and all the things going on there. We normally don't talk about people's private lives, right? You know, that is divorced or is sleeping with women or things like that. That's his own business. But when it's a system, because according to what Adaora is talking about, it's a system. Like the whole church is just perverse. When it's a system, when, you know, things like this, those are already practices. Those are already lifestyle stuff. It's not just for individual or for one person or the other. Things like this happen in every church. It happens in every church. People have issues with immorality and something. But when it's an institutionalized situation, like she's talking about, of course it must be addressed.
Thank you. And then we have Doris again saying, I'm going through same now, but one with God is with majority. I deliberately distance myself from all pastors for people not to think it's a gang up, okay? Chuma says, please, any of you should...
From what?
From all pastors.
So that they don't think? I don't get that.
Okay, she's saying that I am going through same now, but one with God is with majority. I deliberately distance myself from all pastors for people not to think it's a gang up. That's what she said.
But
please,
you don't get it, right?
I don't fully get it, but yeah. Chuma says that please, any of you should try and go to any Christ Embassy church during ministry material Sunday. A lot happened there. These people worship the pastor and not God. Okay, thank you, Chuma. I think everyone is saying the same thing. Paul is saying time conversion is powerful message. I have incorporated it in our ongoing drama film training, watching live from the training camp. Thanks again, DSA. Thank you very much, Paul, for sharing that. No marriage in heaven. Chioma is saying that's the blindness, sister. That's the blindness, sister. That's Doris saying that. Doris again said, just told my cousin not too long that he should wait for what is coming to his church, Christ Embassy, in some days from today. On the platform, we'll minister to him, not me. Wow. And here we go. I have a lot of experience and things I wasn't in support of when I was worshiping with them, but I have to share it sometimes. That's Shuma that's saying that. It's true. She was so quiet. So I am amazed when she started speaking. That's Ruth is agreeing with Adaora that she's now talking. So she's received boldness. Well done. And Tamin, the Divine King, said that Chioma, can you elaborate to us more, please? Okay, I think this is about Christ Embassy and the experience. Well, guys, thank you very much for all your comments. You guys have been great. Thanks to Adaora for her kingdom fruits and sharing her life with us. We appreciate it. So, guys, we'll see you again. Dr. Sunday will be back in now 40 minutes. So, join us again. We'll see you shortly. Take care. Bye.